Hey guys, this is Ghost57 coming at you from the power of YouTube through the internet itself. Okay guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to put macOS on a 2010 to 2017 MacBook Air. Stay tuned guys, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay guys, so for this, all we're going to need is a couple of things. So we are going to need another type of Mac computer to actually get the macOS from. And we're going to be using this Mac Mini that actually has a working operating system and just a USB of your choice. 16 gigabytes are bigger. This one is actually pretty big, but I had this lying around. This is 128, actually 64 gigabytes. The good thing is it is a 3.1 USB, so this will be pretty good for what we need it for. Just keep in mind, I like to keep these afterwards, so you have a boot drive of sorts. So if you do have another issue like this right here, you can actually reboot your operating system from that. So this right here is the computer we'll be working on today. This is a MacBook Air A1466. The date is probably about 2012 to maybe 2015 at the newest. But it looks like the last owner probably deleted everything off of it, including the operating system. So when you boot it up, all you get is a configuration issue like this right here. That's just fine. It just means it doesn't have an operating system. So I'm going to show you how to reinstall that operating system on the computer in a couple easy steps. Let's jump right into it, guys. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, so now that we have our other Mac plugged in, turned on, and ready to go, the first thing we want to do to make sure we actually update and get the latest iOS for our computer that's missing that file is actually you're going to go to check your device coverage to really make sure you have the latest updated one, because a lot of times it's hard to find online. So all you need to do is go to the back of your Mac, find your serial number, and you're going to type it in right over here. Just like so. I already have it populated there. And then you're just going to put that little character in right here, like so. And don't go to sign in, because then you have to sign in and all that. You're just going to go hit submit, and this will let you know what exactly your Mac number is, especially like with mine, since you can't even get into the computer. This is probably the fastest way to do it. So this is a MacBook Air 13-inch, and it's a mid-2013. And that's going to let you know exactly what's going to be the newest operating system that's compatible with your Mac. Again, the way to find that serial number is going to be on the back of your MacBook. So as you see right here, there is the Mac serial number. Very small font, very small print, but that's what you want to type in to check your coverage to figure out what MacBook you're actually upgrading, updating, and putting an iOS on, just to make sure that it's compatible so you don't waste time. Okay, and we'll see what the next step is now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump back on Safari. I'm actually using Google on macOS, but what you want to type in right here is this macOS compatibility in your search bar, and any of these will work. I'm just using the first one, macOS compatibility guide by Mac model. This will actually help you out in determining what to download. So since we're using a MacBook Mini, or actually MacBook Air, we're going to go ahead and find that right down here. We're going to expand that. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bigger for y'all to see. And you're looking at your models right here. It's going to let you know from the newest model all the way to the oldest, which is going to be the newest one you can actually download. So since we have the mid-2013, this is the one we're looking at right here. And the biggest and newest model we can do is Big Sur, and that's going to be macOS 11.x. Okay guys, so now that we know exactly what macOS we can upgrade to, now it's time to make our USB bootable drive. This one is a little complicated, just follow in the steps and you'll be up and running in no time. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and install our USB drive into any of these ports on our Mac Mini. Of course, whatever you have, we're going to install that too. And this one's actually been used before, so we're going to go ahead and format it. Okay, so we're going to delete this drive. I already actually deleted it, but if you do have issues on how to find actually how to format it, it can be kind of difficult. Like for a lot of Windows users, you just right click and format, but for iOS users, you're going to go right over here to your Launchpad, and what we're going to go is to Others, and we're going to go right here to Disk Utilities, like so, and we're going to find the drive we're going to delete, and what you're going to do is go right here to erase, and you can name it whatever you want right here. Since we're going to be uploading Big Sur to it, we'll put that there. You can keep it on macOS Extended Journaled. That's pretty much what we're going to be using it for, is just the iOS, and then we'll hit erase. And just like that, our USB is ready to be mounted to. After it says it's finished, we're good to go. So you can see we have 34 gigabytes of usable data. All we need is about 8 to 16, so this is suffice. And now I'm going to show you actually where to download the operating system to mount it to this USB. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this page just to kind of take a look at what we can actually update our MacBook to. So this one, the mid 2013, again, is good for Big Sur and Catalina and all the other series. But for some reason, when I do look up Big Sur, it's the same file not available. So we're just going to go one generation down, which is Catalina. You can go ahead and copy this right here. Go ahead and put it into a new window. We're just going to go to Google, and we're going to pop it in over here. And it's going to be right here. So it's going to be your Apple Store. So once you type this in, you're good to go. If you notice, right away it actually popped up this window in our App Store. And all we're going to do now is actually hit Get button right over here. And it's going to say, do you want to download? You're going to hit yes. So this download can take some time. So normally you're looking at anywhere from, let's say, like it says right there, 16 minutes all the way up to an hour, depending on the version you're downloading. So all you want to do is wait for that to download, go get yourself something to drink, and come back, because we need this file downloaded before we can actually make our bootable drive. So just take yourself a little break and come back right to it, and I'll see you in a couple seconds. Okay, so now that we're actually right here, after the download you'll see macOS Catalina. You're not going to hit continue. This will be if you wanted to install it to the current device. We don't want to do that. We're going to make a bootable device. So we're just going to go ahead and minimize that. Go ahead and hit X over here, X. You can close everything down now. So now that we actually got everything up and running, one thing I wanted to make sure of, that you want to make sure of, is as you did see when I deleted this, you want to make sure that you have your bootable USB actually set to macOS Extended Journal. We're not doing Big Sur anymore, so if you want to, you can always rename this. I'm going to go to rename it right now to Catalina. So pretty easy to rename. You just right click over here. Going to go to rename. Again, you don't have to, but it kind of keeps everything nice and neat. And after you do everything, it does reset the name anyways. So it's up to you. It's a little bit of a OCD thing. Okay, so we got that renamed. We can go ahead and close this down over here. So we don't want to install it from right here. What we're going to do is actually install it a different way since we're making a bootable drive. Okay, so we're actually going to go in right over here to Finder. From Finder, we're going to go right here to the tab Applications. From there, you can actually see where it says Install macOS Catalina. That's actually where we'll be installing it from since we're making a bootable drive. So you want to go ahead and right-click this, Show Package Contents, and you're going to click on Contents. And what we're going to do here, and then we're going to open up Resources, and right here where you see Create Install Media, we're going to come back to this in a little bit, but that's where we're going to actually make our media disk from. Okay, so we can move that to the side for now. So we're going to go back to Launchpad. We're going to go to Other, and what we're going to do now is pretty much get into our terminal menu. So we'll let that pop up. Okay, now that we have our terminal open, the next steps are actually pretty easy. You just have to find, pretty much match what I type in verbatim. We're going to type in sudo sudo space, and now what we're going to do is actually grab our create media disk file right here, and you're just going to drag it over here, and it pretty much copies that long folder directory right there. It automatically makes a space for you. Now we're going to type in -- volume and then another space. Okay, so now we're going to find our volume media. So best thing to do is go up here on top. We're going to go to folder, and what we're going to type in is actually volumes. So we're going to do -- volume, And it's actually going to show us all the volumes on our computer here. You can see them all right here. And the one we're looking at is, of course, the one I just renamed to macOS Catalina, hence why I renamed it, so it's easier to find in your volumes folder. So just like before, we're just going to grab the volume that we need. We're going to grab it over here and put it right in our terminal, just like that. Okay, so now we're actually done with our Finder, so we can go ahead and minimize that. We're going to be just working on this window right here, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it's easier for y'all to see. And now that you got everything in here, all you're going to do is hit return. It's going to ask you for your computer's password. Keep in mind, this computer I'm using right here, it's really just a test computer, so there is no passwords on here. So for me, all I'm going to press is enter, and you are good to go. Now that I actually put a password in there, so I guess my test computer does need a password. Now you're good to go. You're going to see to continue, we need to erase the volume. So even though we already erased the volume, we're going to do it again. So all you need to do is hit Y and enter. And now you can see that it's actually erasing everything off that volume. I always like to double check that the volume is ready to go. And it looks like now we're pretty much ready to get this party started. So right there on top, we're going to hit OK because it is going to remove every file on there and pretty much make it a bootable drive. So it's going to be doing some fancy stuff in the background. And we'll just go ahead and let it do its thing. Of course, I'm going to speed it up in the video. This does take about anywhere from 1 to 20 minutes depending on the speed of your USB and the speed of your Mac you're using to make this bootable drive. Okay, and just like that, we are ready to pull this USB out. So we're going to go ahead and dismount it. This means pretty much you are ready to go. You just made your first pretty much boot media disk right here. It's a lot harder than Windows, but hey, Mac always likes to be a little more complicated. But we already did it. As you see right there, it actually renamed it, like I said, to install macOS Catalina. So all I'm going to do is actually eject this from this computer so it's ready to eject safely so I don't corrupt any data. So we're just going to go ahead and pull that out of this computer and plug it into our laptop now. Okay, so anytime you install any type of operating system to any type of laptop, always make sure you plug it into its power source, just in case it takes longer than you think. You don't want to corrupt your files again, making your computer primarily a brick. So now that we have that plugged in, we're going to grab our boot media disk and plug that into our laptop. Pretty easy step one. I mean, it does take a while to make this bootable disk. Now that we got everything plugged in, we're going to go ahead and open our laptop up. It should turn on automatically. And if it doesn't, you can always hit the power button right over here. There we go. Since we have the bootable drive actually plugged in and there's no operating system, it should automatically try to boot from this USB bootable drive. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes we have to prompt it. And now we actually got an Apple logo, so that's a good sign. Again, sometimes what you have to do is actually jump into like the BIOS settings, which is pretty easy to do. But it looks like this is actually a little easier. So this is if you have completely corrupt files. This is one way you can get back into it, and if there's no image actually loaded onto your screen. Sometimes what you have to do if this doesn't work is hold Command and R. That's going to put you into recovery mode, which you can actually see your bootable drives, including your USB drive, and if you had another operating system, your main drive. But since this was completely deleted, you actually don't have to do any of that. You just flip your laptop open, push the power button, and just make sure you have your bootable drive plugged in like so, and it's automatically going to draw from that and get you ready to update your iOS, or I should say Mac OS. Sorry, long-time Windows user. And just like that, it actually booted us into macOS utility, which is the same thing as pushing the Command R button. So what we're going to do is go right over here. We're going to go ahead and click on, let me get this a little closer. So you're going to go ahead and click on Install macOS, and there's our beautiful macOS Catalina that we worked so hard on. And we're going to hit Agree. Agree. And you can see right here, this is actually the hard drive, which is a 120 gig hard drive. Back in the days, this was a huge storage. Nowadays, that is so small. Can't even download maybe one game, I know. But that's the way it used to be. So let's go ahead and click on that. And just like so, we're gonna create a brand new working computer. Since this one did not have a macOS on there, for some reason the last owner, I guess, really wanted to be secure and deleted everything off that drive and just gave it away. So now I'm gonna go ahead and fix it so it keeps one computer out of e-waste, keeps it out of the, you know, wherever they were gonna throw it. This one actually found at Goodwill for 15 bucks since it was someone's called broken. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and install that, and I'll show you how easy it is to get this computer up and running after that corrupt file was there, in these little easy steps. So now pretty much we just have to wait for the finalization of installation of the new macOS. So normally this takes anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. It's at the halfway mark right now. I just wanted to give you an update on how it looks, just in case if this is your first time. It does go back into this window, it does reboot itself. So primarily you kind of just have to let it do its thing, go get yourself another glass of water or walk around the house or something. You definitely don't want to turn it off right now because you'll end up with a brick instead of a computer. So we'll let it do its things and we'll come back to it shortly. Okay guys, so it is finished its install of the new operating system, Catalina OS, and now we are pretty much good to go. Primarily, now your computer will be like brand new with a new operating system. So now you just have to go ahead and do what you need to do, set up your user account password, and if you want to, you can always connect it to your iCloud account like a normal new computer. Anyways guys, if you found this video useful, please hit the thumbs up. If there's any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments down below. And as always guys, I'll see you in the next video. Ghost57 out. Goodbye for now.